discussing Chapter 18, Communication and Collaborations. We'll be starting with effective and efficient communications, which is having your message fully understood by your receiver at minimum cost. Effective and efficient communications are very important tools for any manager in the workforce. Other communication tools are credibility and persuasive communication, which is being able to present your message in a way that people will support you and have an integrity and trust behind you to know that your message is clear and true. As well as having successful communication tools, one must understand that there are barriers that we must adhere to and practice in order to avoid them. Communication barriers can include noise, information filtering, which is anything that is distracting, car horns, people screaming, and distorting information where it makes it favorable to the recipient, which is dangerous, especially in a controlled environment. Other communication barriers can be failure to recognize nonverbal communications, which is body language and different gestures that we use to communicate outside of verbal.
Good afternoon, I am Shakia Williams, and today we're going to be discussing cross-cultural differences with our special guest speaker.
Ifeanyi Nebua.
Mr. Nebua, what's your major and classification?
Okay, I'm a business management major. And right now I'm a senior at JHS School of Business.
And where are you from?
Okay, I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Right.
So in comparison to American culture, how is communication different in your native country?
Okay, basically we all have similar things when it comes to communication. But in terms of cultures, when somebody older than you talks to you, you don't maintain eye contact with them. If you do, that's seen as disrespect. Okay, so in certain cultures as well, when you try to greet somebody like your elder, actually you have to bend down to greet them.
Wow. Right,
you have to do all that. And at the same time, in religion, like the Muslim religion in my country, women and men, they communicate from a distance. And a male cannot shake a woman's hand in terms of religion.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it's not the same thing when it comes to Christianity in my country.
Right.
I'm just saying, like the Muslim part of the country, yeah, women have to communicate from a distance with male counterparts.
So, like as we know, American, it really is based off of Christianity.
Right.
And so, would you say that Nigeria is more so based off of the Muslim religion?
No, actually, the Muslim population is less than 20%.
But that specific part of that culture is completely different in retrospect to communication.
Right.
Okay, well, that's interesting. And also, in America, we are extremely verbal and very, very physical. How is that different in Nigeria?
We're verbal too, and actually the fact is we're more louder when compared to Americans.
Right.
But at the same time, we use more of gestures and body languages to send home our message.
Right. Yeah. So it's not like I guess whereas here we would just kind of talk it out. You're just really all over the place with your gestures.
Right.
That's a really big part of your communication.
Yeah, sometimes
we're more reserved.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because sometimes we see two Nigerians talking, it looks like they're fighting.
Right.
But actually they're not fighting.
Right.
It's just how we talk.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it looks like we're the only people in the room, but forget everybody else is there. So we are louder.
Wow.
When it comes to communication.
That's crazy that you can be so close yet so different at the same time. Right. Well, thank you for coming out today. We really appreciate it. Can I shake hands?
Yeah.
As evident in the video that you just watched, it is very important to look at how cultures communicate. Another aspect that we didn't get to in the video is ethnocentrism, which is when a person feels that their ethnicity is superior to any and all other cultures. And it's great to have pride in your culture, but it's also important to realize that there is not just one culture, in the world. Ethnocentrism can create listening passively, alienating another person, or using stereotypes to define people. So when communicating with others, especially cross-culturally, please note that is a very important communication barrier. Next, we'll be talking about improving collaboration through communication. The better the communication, the more likely it is that collaboration will be successful. This is where persuasion and credibility that Dominique talked about earlier plays a huge role. Techniques to improve collaboration through communication are transparency and openness, which is sharing accurate and complete information about the organization and the workplace affairs. This creates a culture of trust within a firm. And trust is the most essential part of communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. Another technique is the use of electronic media. Electronic media has revolutionized how organizations communicate internally and externally. Internally, organizations can use apps such as Slack or software such as Google Drive to communicate internally through completing and editing projects, completing surveys, and keeping employees engaged and informed from virtually anywhere. Externally, businesses are able to use social media networks like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and professional networks such as LinkedIn to make sure that they are meeting the needs of their customers or clients and accomplishing any goals that will allow them to be fully productive. Another technique would be active listening. And it is tried and true that most people think that they're active listeners, but they're really not. Active listening involves being fully engaged and in the moment with whomever is communicating with you. Passive listening involves half listening, half thinking about anything else outside of what what is being communicated to you. And we often find ourselves distracted, especially when engaged in conflict, which we'll talk about shortly. We focus on how we will respond and not, being fully understanding what is being said. As we learned earlier, effective communication is when the intended meaning is fully understood by the receiver. So you can see how passive listening can be detrimental in communication.
After completing the conflict resolution questionnaire, it was revealed that my conflict management style is competitive. The competitive management style is that I value my point being made more than the relationship. I always want to win and I force my opinions on others so that they will agree with me. I am labeled as a shark. This type of management style creates a win-lose position. To improve my conflict management style, I'm going to work on being more compromising. I realize that if I listen and value other people's ideas, opinions, and values, that I can create a win-win position, and it can work to everyone's advantage.
When I took my conflict management style survey, it says that I am compromising and moderately assertive. Being moderately assertive means that I pick and choose which situations that I'm assertive in and which I stand my ground, and others that I just let things slide and compromise with the other party. That is, to me, is a good thing and a bad thing, because that means I'm willing to compromise more often than not, especially when I know something that I want should be there and is right. But at the same time, it's good because I'm willing to be flexible and be with different people in different environments.
Go.
Hi, my name is Shakia. When I took my conflict style questionnaire, my results were collaborating. And basically what that means is that I look for the win-win in conflict. I look for situations where everyone gains. And that is seen as the higher end of problem solving, because every problem that is raised every problem is raised and discussed openly. I have to agree that that's basically what I do. I would say that my fallback would be accommodating, which is a win-lose conflict, and basically it's a win for you but a lose for me, and that's usually when I feel like your point, you care a little bit more than what I do. I just go ahead and let you win. Whereas collaborating is cooperative and assertive. So, I cooperate with you and I'm very assertive about making sure that I get what I want to.
Negotiation is the process of making joint decisions when the parties involved have different preferences. They are stiff tests to anyone's collaborative and communication skills. The 3 criteria for effective negotiation is 1, quality, agreeing that all sides are satisfied. Number 2 is cost. It's efficiently negotiating using minimal resources and time. And number 3 is harmony, creating good relationships with your peers. When negotiating with others, you want to steer away from distributive negotiation, which is a win-lose situation, and you want to try to create win-win situations, which is principled negotiations. There are 5 myths that you should try to steer from in order to be able to negotiate effectively with others. First myth is the myth of the fixed pie. In order for you to gain something, you don't have to make the other person give up something that they value. Number 2 is a non-rational escalation of conflict. Don't let your ego or your demands overrule the importance of satisfying both parties involved. Number 3 is overconfidence and ignoring other people's needs. And number 4, the telling error. When failing to effectively listen to another person's opinions and creating a misunderstanding. And last but not least, premature conflict is the inability to understand a person of another's culture, and you misinterpret their intentions, the meanings of what they're trying to say, and the positions that they stand for.